Hey, this is Mr. Elmhorst with the help video for the minor grade on solving equations practice. There's going to be a mixed equation 1, 2, and 3-step equations. So taking a look at the first one, let's start with writing the equation down, and we're going to separate the left side from the right side at the equal sign. So this is just one step. The variable is multiplied by 9. So we're going to divide both sides by 9. So we got 117 divided by 9. 9 goes into 11 one time. 1 times 9 is 9. Then we subtract, there's 2 left over, bring the 7 down, and 9 goes in 27 3 times. So now we follow our integer rules. A negative divided into 9 groups are still going to be negative groups. So we end up with negative 13. So here we have two-step. There's dividing of the variable and then adding. So the variable is by itself it's on one side, x. It's being divided by 5. So we're going to do order of operations in reverse. Doing our flow down, we're going to subtract 9 from both sides. So after step 1, positive 9, negative 9, those are going to cancel. So we bring x divided by 5 down, and then 4 negatives, and you take away 9, you're going to have negative 13 on the right side now. So the opposite of dividing by 5 is going to be multiplying by 5, and we can represent that with parentheses or a dot. We multiply both sides by 5, and 5 divided by 5 is going to be 1. So we got x is equal to 13 times negative 13 times 5. 5 times 3 is 15, carry the 1. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 1 is 6. And a negative multiplied by a positive is going to stay negative. So moving right along, we have the variable on the right side of this equation, and we're going to go through the flow down on the left side and the right side of the equal sign. So subtract 15. We're going to do order of operations in reverse, add or subtract first. So that's going to cancel on the right side. We're going to subtract 15 from the left side. That's step 1. And bring the variable times negative 3 down. And then we have 39 minus 15, which is going to leave us with 24. We're going to divide both sides by negative 3 to cancel the multiplying of the variable by negative 3. And then after step 2, 3 divided by 3 is 1. Negative divided by negative is positive. And we solve with n by itself. And 24 divided by 3 is going to be 8. And a positive divided by negative will stay negative. So here we're multiplying by 2/3. So this is going to be one step. In order to cancel multiplying by 2/3, we're going to multiply by 3 over 2. And then we do that on the other side also. So after one step, times 3 divide by 3, times 3 divide by 3, now we're left with x equals 24 times 3 over 2. Put the whole number over 1 to make a fraction. So we got 3 times 4, which is 12, carry the 1. And then 3 times 2, which is 6, plus 1 is 7. And then 1 times 2 is 2. And so we divide 72 by 2. 2 goes into 7 3 times. 3 times 2 is 6. Then we subtract, find the remainder from the first number, then bring the 2 down. 2 goes into 12 6 times. Okay. And now going back to the original number, this was a negative. And so one negative is going to leave our answer negative. So this one has y divided by 3. So we're going to multiply both sides of the equation by 3 to cancel with the variable. So times 3 divided by 3. Now we're left with y. So after one step, y equals negative 8 times 3. So you got 3 times 8, which is 24. And then 3 times 1 plus 2 is 5. There's one negative multiplied, so your answer is going to be negative 54. So in order to cancel the 2/5, to do the inverse, we're going to inverse the equation and multiply, and then we will do that on the other side also. So times 5 divided by 5, times 2 divided by 2. So we're left with x equals, and we have 4/8 times 5. So 5 times 8 is 40, and then 5 times 4 is 20, plus 4 is 24. So this is equal to wait, we're missing a decimal. Move the decimal over one spot. All right, so now we have 24 divided by 2. And that is going to give us 12. There's no negatives, so we end up with 12. So we need to clear the fraction by multiplying by the denominator. So what does that mean? We can multiply both sides of the equation by 7. And as long as we multiply both sides of the equation by 7, then we can cancel the fraction of sevenths. We have to change both sides equally. So right here, 7 times 4/7 is going to cancel. And after one step, we are left with 4b. And then 7 times 2/7 is going to be 2. And then over here, 7 divided by 7, that's going to cancel. And you're left with 5. So now the variable is by itself on the left side with the coefficient. So we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. And this is going to be step 2. This is going to cancel. That's going to cancel the positive 2 on the left side. Now 4b is left on the left side of the equation. And then 5 minus 2 is going to give us 3. So we're going to go to step 3. We need to get rid of multiplying by 4. We're going to divide both sides by 4. 4 divided by 4 is going to be 1. So now we're left with b is equal to 3/4. So for this particular one, where b equals 3/4, both answers would be marked correct. We're looking at Frida and 3 of her friends. That is a total of 4 people, and they're going to split the cost of getting a canoe. Each person pays $13.75. How much did the canoe cost? So if we set up an equation, the total cost divided by 4 equals $13.75. We're going to multiply both sides by 4. So then the total cost is going to equal $13.75 times 4. So looking at problem number 9, we need to identify the variable. The question is asking about how many breadsticks. So the question is going to point towards what variable we're going to use. And we can use B for breadstick. And it looks like each breadstick is going to be multiplied by 75 cents. So we could set up the equation, breadsticks plus pizza, or pizza plus breadsticks, and it's going to give us the same result. So subtracting 1050 from both sides, that's step 1 to solve. Remove the breadstick cost from the equation. So now we just have the breadsticks times 75 equals 350. So 350 is a total for the breadsticks. Now we divide by 75 to find how many breadsticks there are. Let's say a 2-step equation to solve. So B equals $3.50 divided by 75. So we have a decimal on the outside. We're going to move it over to make a whole number. And when we remove hundredths place value from the divisor, then we're going to remove hundredths place value equally on the inside of the division problem. For problem number 10, we need to clear the fraction first. So x plus 18 is divided by 2. So we are going to multiply both sides by 2 in order to clear it. Multiply by 2, divide by 2. So we got x plus 18 equals 20. And then we subtract 18 from both sides to solve. And now we have x left over on the left side. 18 positive and negative 18 will cancel. So we're left with x equals 20 minus 18. So here we have the denominator of 9 and the denominator of 3. So in order to clear the denominator, which would be the bottom part of the fraction, we would need to multiply by the greatest common multiple of 3 and 9. So we're going to multiply both sides by 9. We're going to multiply the left side by 9 and the right side times 9. So 9, we're going to distribute 9 times 1/3 x and 9 times 2. And then we have 9 times 5. So the multiplying and dividing by 9 on the right side will cancel. And let's move down to step 2. 9 divided by 3 is going to leave us with 3x plus 9 times 2, which will give us 18. So the 9's cancel on the right side, and we're left with negative 5x. This one, we could flip the negative 5x over to the other side. and add 5 to both sides. That will create another step in the process, but it will also take care of not having a negative variable. So we're left with 8x on the left side plus 18, and we're going to flip 18 to the other side where it is minus 18. Divide both sides by 8 to cancel. 8 divided by 8 will be 1. So now we have x equals negative 18 divided by 8. You have to divide that out into decimal form to simplify it. Yeah, number 12, we're multiplying by 2/5. We want to clear this fraction here. So we multiply the left side by 5, and we're going to multiply the right side by 5. So 5 divided by 5 will cancel. So we're left with 2 times parentheses 10 minus x equals. Now we need to distribute 5 times 4.8 and 5 times 3x. So 5 times 8 is 40, carry the 4. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 4 is 24. Move the decimal over. So we're going to be left with 24 plus 15x. Now we distribute 2 times 10 minus 2 times x. We're done with step 1 and step 2, but we're done with the first part. So we got 2 times 10, which is 20, minus 2x equals 24 plus 15. Now we're going to add 2x to both sides to remove it from the left side, and then we add 2x to the right side. That's going to cancel on the left side, and we're left with 17x on the right plus 24, and that's going to be equal to 20. We subtract 24 from both sides. It's going to cancel on the right side, and we're going to be left with negative 4 equals 17x. We divide both sides by 17. So x is going to equal negative 4 17ths. Number 13, we need to distribute the negative 3 times both terms inside the parentheses. We're going to do negative 3 times 3n. So 3 times 10 is going to give us negative 30, minus, we're going to bring the subtraction down, and then we have negative 3 times 3, which is negative 9n, and then we do 3 times n, which is 3n, and then 3 times 3. So on the left side, subtracting a negative is going to add the opposite. We're going to change that. Now let's flow down through here, take a look at the left side. There's more n's on the left side, so let's subtract n's from the right side. That will cancel the variable on the other side. And let's see, we are left with 9 minus 3n, we have 6, negative 30, And then we have 9 plus 9 on the right side, and we're left with 18. We're going to add 30 to both sides. Now we canceled the subtracting or the negative 30 on the left. So we're left with 6n, which is equal to 48. Divide both sides by 6. 6 divided by 6 will give you n, and n equals 48 divided by 6, which equals your solution. So setting up the comparison here between Jenny and Kelsey. So Kelsey is spending money, so that's going to be negative, and Kelsey is saving money, so that is going to be positive. So Kelsey has $1,200 and she's subtracting $40 each week. And Kelsey has $120 and she's saving $50 a week. So let's start with consolidating the variable. I'm going to add 40 to both sides. We're left with 1,200 on the left and 120 plus 90 on the right. Subtract 120 from both sides. Let's line up our numbers there. And we are left with 1,080 equal to 90. We're going to divide both sides by 90 to solve. Looking at the last one for number 15, I'm going to set up an equation where they are the same, which means equal. So we got 2 times n minus 4, which is equal to 3 times the sum of a number and 10. Flow down here. First, we need to distribute 3 times n and 3 times 10. So we have 2n minus 4 and 3n plus 30. So we can look to the side where we have less variables of n, which is the left side. So take away 2 n's and do that equally on both sides. And we're left with negative 4, which is equal to n plus 30. We're going to subtract 30 from each side for the solve. So that cancels, and that will equal n.